Hey everybody, we're back. It's Slingin Dirt TV. This week we're going to talk age limits.
Yeah, we got PJ Peterson from Crawford County Speedway.
Yep, we got the all too popular Fan of the Week segment back. And of course, last but not least, we got Songer Says. So, hey, we'll be right back. It's Slingin Dirt TV. Hey everybody, it's Buddy Ray, Jack Prawl III, JP3, the world's slowest race car driver, whatever we want to call him.
Molasses.
Hey, Molasses. We're back on Slingin Dirt TV. Tell you what, let's get right into it. Jack, I've been hearing a lot of things. I'm not going to mention no names in particular, but there were some kids down in Florida racing sprint cars. There's some kids over in Indiana, Illinois racing some UMP modifieds. And the one thing I'm hearing is the age limits. Some of these kids are 10, 12 years of age, and while I know we're watching like that one section, what we call NASCAR, I think it is, you know, we're getting younger and younger drivers in cup racing, but even on the dirt, when we get the younger and younger drivers going into the dirt racing, at what point do you say, enough's enough?
You know, and I know I've experienced on the track, you probably have too with some of the younger drivers out there. They're inexperienced, and when an inexperienced driver takes out an experienced driver, you get upset about it, but you go, okay, they're learning. But you know, when you start getting in that, you know, 14 and under age group, you know, it's kind of sketchy. But you know, some of these kids are go-kart prodigies. They come from go-kart racing, and they have to go somewhere. You know, so where do you stick them? Where do you draw the line? You know, I really don't know, but to me, 14 is pretty young to be in a high-powered vehicle to begin with.
I think 14. INCA, I think, has it right, being 14, going to a sport compact, a hobby stock, and I believe it's a sport mod on a 3/8 mile or smaller track. Right. I think that's fine. And some of the kids out there that are in these sprint cars and late models and modifieds, I don't want to take anything away from them. They're obviously better than we are, or they wouldn't be in the darn things. But as a parent myself, and I know you're a parent and a grandparent, you get into a 12-year-old or a 12-year-old gets into you. If you and I get into each other, we can get mad at each other.
Sure.
A 12-year-old.
We've done it.
Yeah, we've done it. A 12-year-old and a 50-year-old. You guys get tied up. Both cars take a lot of damage. Of course, you want to go talk to that kid. But now, all of a sudden, you got his family back and him. Right. You know, well, he's only 12 years old, yada, yada, yada. Well.
Yes, exactly.
He's exactly. Only 12 years old. He's only 12, but you put him in an adult man's or adult woman's sport.
Right.
I mean, that's my only issue. And I've seen people, I'm not going to name names, but I've seen people around here say, well, you know, my girl or my son's only 15 or 16, you got to give him a break.
No, you don't. And that's you know, that's where you got to draw the line. Like I said, 14 to me is still pretty young, even in a sport compact or a sport mod, you know. And I've been tore up by them, and that's exactly what happens. You know, you walk down their pit, whether you're nice or not, the first thing that happens is mom or dad jumps in front of you, in front of their kid, and you know, they're automatically on the defensive just because they have a child, you know, and that's wrong. And I've actually had instances where I've had it happen, and the biggest thing is videotaping. You know, we always videotape our races so we can take the camera down there. When you're holding a camera, for some reason, you can show them what they did wrong and why. The parents relax, the kid, the light bulb goes on. You know, you can help them and help develop them, but you know, there are those prodigy kids that are coming up from God knows where. You know, I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the kid that throws together, you know, a little sport compact and wants to go racing with mom and dad. I did it with my son. He started at 15. You know, but I had very stringent guidelines for him as a driver, going, if you're going to do this, you're going to start at the back of the pack, show me that you've got the skills to compete, and as you do that, I will take the, you know, the training wheels off.
I'm pretty sure when you're a 10 or a 12-year-old in a UMP mod or a 10, 12-year-old in a sprint car down in Florida, I'm pretty sure these kids aren't told to start in the back every week. And just to get to that position, I don't think that they were told to start in the back. But with what you're doing with your son, if my son was driving a race car, absolutely start at the back, you know, for at least half a year, if not the whole season. Just learn how to drive.
Right.
Don't worry about being competitive. Like I said, my biggest fear is I go out there, I race with a kid, and all of a sudden he turns sideways. The car got, you know, out from underneath him. He turns it sideways. I T-bone him. The car gets messed up. I got mom and dad yelling at me. Well, what in the world what are you thinking, bud? What were you doing? You know, you're getting into our son. Yeah, it's your son that lost control of the car. It's your daughter that lost control of the car.
Right.
But if they come and the child gets into me, and I've seen this happen before, the child will get into me or you or whoever, but the child gets into the other person. Well, you gotta remember, they're only 10 or 12.
Right.
You know, the cars don't know that. The checkbook don't know that.
Yeah, well, and here's another thing that came into play in my own experience with my son racing, and that was the fact that you put him in a car, and we had a good car, you know, it wasn't just a throw-together car, it was a competitive car. Started out running in the back of the pack, showed me he had his training wheels, was competitive, started winning heat races. Got to some A-mains, got a win. Then the next thing was, it was either checkers or wreckers. And that's where I had to draw the line again and say, I don't care how good you think you are, because at that age, they're bulletproof.
Oh, yeah.
And then they start pushing harder and harder to win, and they start causing more and more damage. And the other part of it is when you got mommy and daddy writing that check for that car to repair it versus us who pay for our own stuff, we're a little more, I guess, selective of what situations we put ourselves into.
Yep.
Me more than you.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's a big part of it too, I believe, is the money aspect. The kids don't grasp how much money goes into racing when somebody's just forking out dollars for these cars.
It's easy to sit there and say, well, I know this cost $1,000 or this costs $500. It's real easy to say that, and you see that big number of $500, $1,000, $1,500, but when you're not the man or the lady paying for it,
right,
that's a little bit different. But as soon as you start paying it, it's almost like reality shock. Like, whoa, that's
well, and that's kind of where our situation went. Is we, you know, of course, said, all right, you wrecked the car, you have to pay for the repairs, and you have to do the work yourself.
Yep.
And by God, driving style changed, won more races, and didn't tear up as much stuff. And
I bet you the driving style changed all within 1 week.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know, and I don't want to take away from any of the young kids out there, because we've got some kids. In fact, there's one in particular that I've raced against. You know him, Ari Scouten.
Yep, Ari. Oh, Ari.
You know, Ari's made mistakes. We've made mistakes. But Ari is, for the most part, a pretty clean kid. You don't see him getting into a lot of cars on a weekly basis. You don't see him causing big pile-ups, stuff like that. Keeps his nose pretty clean. He's out of Blair, Nebraska. Getting a new RZR this year. You know, and to me, he's 16 years old, and I'm fine with that. 16-year-old in a sport mod, hobby stock, whatever, I'm fine with that.
Right.
Now, he started 14. He played by the rules, came in the cage carts. Like I said, these kids that are 10, 12 years old, I think that's just a little too young, these V8 powered cars. If you want to go 10, 12-year-old in a sport compact, me personally, you may disagree, I don't have a problem with it.
Right.
As long as they're not in a V8 powered race car.
Well, and the thing is, too, is I would really feel bad. I would feel terrible if I got into a tangle with a kid and they got seriously injured or killed.
Oh,
I mean, I couldn't live with that. You know,
No.
I could live with you and I reckon because we're both just as dumb as each other.
So that explains what went on in turn 3 at Eagle a few years ago.
Pretty much, but you know where I'm coming from. But when it's a kid, it's different, you know, and that's hard as a driver and as a father, as a grandfather. I mean, you know, if I hurt somebody's kid or they got hurt in an accident that caused, you know, major damage to somebody, I probably would hang up my helmet and be done. You know?
Yep, same here. I tell you what, talk about hanging your helmet up and being done. We're going to hang up our helmet and we'll be right back. We're going to talk to our 3 sponsors. Hey, we're back. I don't even know if we had 3 sponsors, but I tell you what, we're going to roll right into our next segment. It's PJ Pedersen. This is our We Knock You Talk, although he's a new track announcer for Crawford County Speedway, and he's going to be talking about a really cool schedule. So I tell you what, let's just get right to it.
Yep.
Here's PJ Pedersen. Hey everybody, we're back on Slingin Dirt TV, and big news. Crawford County Speedway up in Denison, Iowa has a new track announcer, the one and only PJ Pedersen.
Thank you.
So PJ, if you're anything like Jack and I, you're getting a little bit older. Brain cells are starting to go on the down low. You know, you're losing them, so your memory's starting to fade. I mean, there's times Jack and I don't even know who each other are. So I see you got some cheater notes here.
I want to make sure I have everything on the level.
Everything on the good. So tell us about Crawford County Speedway. You guys got a lot of stuff going on this year.
Okay, let's talk NASCAR. Oh, no, wait.
No, we don't do that.
No.
See, it's that CRS, you know?
Yep.
All right, what we got going on is we have, by far and away, the biggest season in Crawford County Speedway history, bar none this year. Just from the specials alone. What we have 18 total nights of racing. 12 of those are actually going to be points nights. But the beautiful part is, after July 31st, once the season finale ends, if we have a couple of rainouts, we have 3 Fridays right there in August that we can use as rainout dates.
Oh,
That's
awesome.
a
Good
built-in
idea.
Exactly.
built-in safety net.
So if you miss it, you still not out. You can still get into it.
Unless Mother Nature decides to be evil like she did last year, 8 rainouts, then we should get a full 12 points nights in.
So what would happen if they don't get 12 points nights in? Do you know what would happen then?
I'm not sure exactly how many have to be in for it to be an official IMCA season,
Okay.
but I'm sure they would figure something out.
Right.
They'll run other tracks or whatever they need to do.
Or,
if they
you
have
know,
to.
run a Wednesday night or a Monday night, something.
Or maybe after Super Nationals, they can run a couple of Fridays there too.
Right.
I mean, we have that option. What we basically have going on is, first off, our general rules are already out. General track rules, they're on ccsdirtracing.com. Make sure you go there, check them out, especially you, because we know you like to break the rules a little bit.
Break?
Yeah. Jack,
Really?
Jack, on the other hand, you know, he keeps it all on the level.
That's right. That's why I'm
No.
slow. That's why I'm slow.
I would never cause a scene on the front straightaway.
No, never. All right. So we have the general rules out. We also have a couple other really big changes. Starting with a new race director. TJ Ray has stepped up in the role of race director. And we have a new tech official. For those that have raced in Denison for a long time or gone to the races for a long time, they're going to recognize this name because he used to run the OX stock car back in the day. You can call him Ox, call him Dink, just don't call him late for supper. Rod Olson's taking over as the tech official. And he's also going to be teching in Harlan along with Randy Andreessen, who is another former stock car guy.
So is Eldon and the other guy out then?
Yes, they will not be coming back.
Okay.
We have Rod, and I'm not sure who he's bringing along with him, if he'll bring Randy with him like in Harlan, but Rod is going to be our head tech official.
So a whole new regime, basically.
That is correct.
When you have a big shakeup, whether it be business or a racetrack, in this instance, we're talking a racetrack, what's been the general thought behind the racing community with all these changes?
Well, I mean, it seems to be very well perceived, especially with Rod as the tech official. I've only heard a couple of guys that have kind of balked about it because of things that happened in the past, you know, when he used to race against them. But other than that, everybody's been very, very happy about that.
Oh, okay. TJ Ray. Now, this was an interesting pick for a race director, and I'm not knocking TJ. TJ Ray and I had some incredible conversations at the track. TJ Ray, I'll get you again with the Sharpie eventually. I used to always autograph his shirt during intermission time. He gets so much, what are you autographing my shirt for? I got to pay for these things. Yeah, well, detergent's cheap, so it'll come out. But, you know, kudos for TJ Ray for getting the nod to be a race director. I know he did a really good job when he was sitting up in the stands.
Say you two come up on a Friday night and you check in the pit gate. You're automatically going to be put in the computer, and that will automatically check you in and put you in your starting spot for your heat race. That will automatically be sent to me up in the booth.
Oh,
So I will
So
actually,
they're trying to speed things up.
exactly. So
Because everybody hates that when you have to go and run back and forth through the pits to try to figure out where you're at, and then you get to a B main or something like that, or
Oh,
it's crazy.
irritating.
Well, and the beautiful part is that any fan out there that has a smartphone can get on ccsdirtracing.com, and before the races, before the pre-race, whatever, they can start seeing where their favorite driver starts in the heat race.
Wow.
That'd be
Now
awesome.
that's actually including the fan a little bit in the action.
Exactly.
Hey, they always said Crawford County Speedway, half the track, twice the action.
That is very much true, which leads me, now mind you, there's 18 total races. We've got only 12 for points. That leaves
6 races.
Thank you. So,
Brain cells on the download again.
we are going to bring back the Oktoberfest, and that's going to be Friday, October 3rd.
Okay.
Also, Friday, August 28th, we're going to have a special. Can't really say what it is, even though I kind of know. But it's going to be a special race the night before Harlan has their Tiny Lund, and the Friday before Super Nationals. So the hope is to bring in cars for Friday night in Denison, Tiny London Saturday in Harlan, and then the night before the Super Nationals in Stewart, and then get everybody over to Boone.
If they have cars left.
If they have, yes, exactly.
Yeah,
if they
if
have
they have
cars
cars
left.
left.
I'm probably not making that one.
So that still leaves us with what, 4 races left?
Something like that.
Okay. Now we're going to try this again like we did last year, and then if this happens, this will be the first time in 21 years this series has made their appearance at the Crawford County Speedway. Last time was in July 1994. Just a pop quiz, can either one of you two tell me who the winner was? And I'll tell you right now, he's a late model Hall of Famer.
Joe Kaczynski.
Close.
Close.
No
Any
idea.
idea? Gary Webb from Bluegrass, Iowa was the last one to
It was
win.
just on the other side of the state. I was
Yeah.
close.
The Deary Brothers Summer Series for the IMCA Late Models is going to try again. We tried it last year, got rained out. They're going to be coming in on Friday, April 4th. I'm sorry, Saturday, April 4th.
That must be a scheduling nightmare for those guys. As many tracks as they hop around to, and you get rainouts. That's
Yeah.
got to be crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. But you stop and think about it. You've got guys like Justin Kay, who was last year's champion from Wheatland, Iowa. You've got Hall of Famers, Gary Webb, Ray Gus Jr., Stephen Joe Kaczynski. You got non-Hall of Famers who have won, like Jamie Songer's favorite driver, Todd Cooney.
Todd Cooney.
Todd Cooney.
I
Who the hell's Todd Cooney?
Josh Mose has even recorded a victory in the Deary Brothers Series, a feature victory. So we have a lot of big-name guys who are going to be coming over here for that race, Saturday, April 4th. Now, obviously, since the ASCS Midwest Series that went defunct, they started up the new National Sprint League for the 410s.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
They will be coming to Crawford County Speedway on Friday, July 24th, which means that our fair race for points will be on Thursday, July 23rd. Obviously, I looked through some of the list of guys who are going to be here who have already signed on for this series. You're looking at a lot of the notables that race Knoxville Weekly. You're Seth Bramer, Mark Dobmeyer, Davey Heskin, Linton Jeffries. You know, Austin and Terry McCarl have signed on for this deal.
Terry McCarl.
Yeah.
Austin and Terry McCarl, yes, father and son. You have Brian Clausen, who has won about everything there is to win in USAC, coming over.
I've heard of that name a lot.
You have Brooke Tatnall, one of the best Australian drivers to come set over here. You have Danny the Dude Lasowski and his biggest fan and fiercest rival, his nephew, Blackjack Brian Brown. They've all signed on. They will all be here. Not to mention, it wouldn't surprise me to see them twice at Crawford County this year, which I'll get to in a minute. But these guys are going to be here once again Friday, July 24th. This is going to be a huge, huge event.
Wow. So what else you got coming down the pipeline? Because there's one series in particular I really find this interesting.
Oh, yes. The Crawford County Fair Association did their due diligence, and a big thank you to them for bringing this on board. I don't know how they pulled it off, but we are looking at June 21st is a Friday night. You wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars, will be in Crawford County Speedway,
Wow.
Denison, Iowa. We're talking Donnie Schatz, Cody Derrick, Craig Kinzer, Kerry Madsen, Darren Pittman, Joey Saldana, Brad Sweet, Jason Sides.
You think there could be a chance that we could see Steve Kinzer?
There is that chance because he still has a Tony Stewart car and is able to run wherever and whenever he wants. But that's also where a lot of these National Sprint League guys could very well come up because number one, a lot of them like running with the Outlaws. Yep. Number two, what a great way to have a test session before they actually get to the National Sprint League Tour. Because you look at the National Sprint League guys, there's really only 2 or 3 of them that have actually raced Denison before in 360s.
Oh, good point.
That's going to be an interesting track to run those cars on at that speed. I mean, that is just going to be...
And when's the last time we'd actually seen a sprint car at Denison?
I was just going to say that because
I don't know if I can ever remember
a sprint car.
Well, the Nebraska 360 show the last couple of years has been there.
Okay, yep.
And we've also had some ASCS 360 shows as well. We tried running the 305s last year, didn't quite work. There's only been one time a 410 show has ever come to Denison.
That's what I was getting to, the 410 show.
Yeah, and that was back when it was the big track, the big 610 mile track, which was, that ended...
in 97, wasn't it?
No, shut down at the end of 05.
Oh.
So it's been a lot of years since we've seen a 410 out here on this track.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, what else have we got in the bag of goodies?
You've covered Downton Abbey. You had some drama. You've got some secrets. You know, you're pulling a rabbit out of a hat. I mean, what's left?
Well, I mean, what else could you possibly bring to Crawford County?
Well, we are going to start the pre-race show about 5 or 10 minutes sooner, so about between 6:20 6:25, because I have some stuff in there that I'm going to be doing for the fans and mainly for the sponsors. One thing I'll just go ahead and announce now is we're going to have a sponsor spotlight. Every night, whoever the sponsor is gets 5 minutes to say whatever they want. It's their time.
Nice.
It's a way to give back to the sponsors, thank them for supporting the Crawford County
sponsors are huge no matter whether you're a racer, you know, a track, whatever. Without sponsors, none of us would be doing any of this. So,
yeah.
5 minutes is
kudos to sponsors.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, back to the track, is there any chance of a USMTS show?
I'm glad you said that, because May 21st, that is a Thursday night, USMTS is making their triumphant return to the Crawford County Speedway. For the longest time, after Todd Staley and his wife bought the struggling USMS series, they would come here 2, maybe 3 times a year. Then after 05, when we shut down, obviously they blew up in popularity. They went one way, we obviously shut down until 2012. But now we're finally getting the band back together, so to speak, and they're going to be here. But they're not the only ones that are going to be here. Along with is going to be the USRA B-Mod and Stock Car Iron Man Challenge.
Oh boy.
Now the thing is, I know there's drivers such as Little Reaper Janae Gustin that will run this Iron Man Challenge, and another name, another blast from the past from Crawford County Speedway's older days. She moved down to Springfield, Missouri a long time ago, and just recently got back into racing when one of her sons did. That is none other than Carla Lampe.
Oh.
She has a USRA B-Mod this year. She's already been out to Arizona. She has already committed to coming up here and racing back at one of the home tracks that she used to race back in the day.
I was going to say, I would think that she would think that this was her home track and her home area.
Yes.
She'd want to support the track. I tell you what, where can people go and follow the schedule and follow Crawford County Speedway? How do they get a hold of the track, stuff like that?
Well, ccsdirtracing.com is the website, and also we do have the Crawford County Speedway Denison, Iowa Facebook page. Make sure to put the Denison, Iowa, so you don't get it mixed up with Crawford County Speedway in Arkansas. Done that a few times.
I've done that a few times myself.
Yeah. I mean, nothing against the CCS down in Arkansas. It's just, it's not our track.
When I looked it up, I seen pine trees, and I'm like, okay, this is not Iowa. It's like, Dorothy, we're not in Kansas no more.
But yes, make sure you like the Facebook page and ccsdirtracing.com. That's where we'll have, the schedule is already up, the general rules are up, all the other information you're going to need.
All right, there you go, folks. PJ Pedersen, track announcer for Crawford County Speedway this year in 2015. You heard it here. USMTS, the NSL, the World of Outlaws. There's a little bit of something for everybody. So, make sure you make your way up to West Central Iowa and check out Crawford County Speedway.
Come on down April 4th for the Deary Brothers Series. May 1st is our season opener. Oh, and let's not forget April 24th, the night before Harlan season opener, is an open practice for everybody.
So everybody.
Everybody. After May 1st, come on down every Friday because it's going to be an awesome show. It's going to be a whole different bag than what it's ever been, and it's going to be awesome.
You think we'd ever see Shane DeMay in a USMTS car in Crawford County? I mean, you think he'd be fast?
Well, I do know he used to run some USMTS and did fairly good in the Central region, so I got a sneaky feeling that we may see him out there in May.
Well, I was talking in real life, not on video games. I mean, I rock the world on video games. So, anyways, we're gonna head back to the studio. So, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you right back. Yeah, it's gonna be warmer there. I tell you what, that PJ Pedersen, he's quite the character. You know, he's not an old kid by any...
Not at all.
Not old at all. But that guy's got about as much knowledge as a 60-year-old.
I was so surprised at his whole racing history background of just knowledge. Was crazy. And it just shows you how much he loves the sport.
Oh, absolutely. I tell you what, though, you talk about that love of the sport. You gotta love the schedule for Denison. I mean, you got everything.
Shaking it up, trying to get some...
I'm telling you.
You'd be crazy not to go out to the track and find some of the special events they got, because they got some really good stuff there.
I mean, just think about it. Dairy Brothers, USMTS, the World of Outlaws. You got the Ironman series with ARCA. You got the NSL League. If you can't find something at Crawford County Speedway, you are living under a rock.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, we have there, all the tracks we have around here, you can go see weekly shows and see weekly dirt track racing, but you want to go see something special, take your family to something special, look at Crawford County, look them up on the internet there, and find out that something that fits. And if there's a rain date, they all kind of shuffle around. They really organize their schedule great around the weather too.
That's what one thing I thought was really interesting with compared to a lot of other tracks is Crawford County has 2 bye weeks at the end of the season in case we do get a couple rainouts.
Right.
They can make those dates up. When's the last time you'd ever heard of a racetrack doing that?
Hardly ever.
That to me was a stroke of genius right there.
Yeah.
It's like a built-in safety net. So tell you what, it was good talking to PJ Pedersen. We're going to take a short break. We're going to be right back, and God knows what we're going to talk about then. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're right back. Right back.
We're here at Beatrice Speedway with Alex Brott, the driver of the number 2X Sport Compact. Now, Alex, you're an American hero from what I hear.
No.
Alex is a former Marine, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've served overseas in Japan and some other places like that?
No Afghan deployment, so I'm not the hero. Those are the boys that are the real heroes.
Well, we want to thank you here at Slingin Dirt. I'm a veteran, so I know what it's like.
Well,
so,
thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. And let's get on with the racing talk instead of saluting each other. How's that? Now, racing to you guys is a family affair, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
And I've heard some rumors that you and your dad get into some pretty good discussions, maybe even some wrenches flying once in a while.
You know, me and my dad kind of have this camaraderie where we know when the other person just needs to get the heck out of the garage. And we can start to see it coming, and it normally starts with one wrench or a tire. For me, I throw the bigger stuff, and he throws the littler stuff. So,
and you probably can run faster too. So
you know, that's the secret. I can outrun the wrenches he throws. He's kind of got that bum shoulder, so I can actually take off.
And then your mother, she's also your videographer, head cheerleader, and safety observer. Is that?
Yeah,
is that correct?
She freaks out for me. She's always in the garage and passing tools and stuff, but of course the most important is the fiance.
And the fiance, yeah. Is there a date set that we know about?
There is May 23rd, so we're right there.
All right.
70 days today, sweetie.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on that. Now, tell us about your racing experiences. How did you get started in this class?
Well, you know, it really came out of nowhere. We were sitting around one day just talking, and my dad had a dream. I was racing, and well, that kind of got me going. Well, I've always wanted to race. I'd been about 1.5 years out of the Marine Corps, had a pretty nice little savings planned up, just, you know, seeing what I wanted to do with it. And just out of nowhere, I talked to Claire, and I was like, hey, Claire, what do you think about me racing? She goes, well, tell me more about that. So we kind of went online, and it started out we were going to do demolition derby, and it was like, all right, let's just
crashing.
Controlled crashing. Yeah. And so we started out, and it was just kind of talking back and forth, and it's something I've wanted to do, you know, my entire life. I think when you grow up in a small town, this racetrack has become part of who we are. It's really a great representation of Beatrice, and it's a really great spot for people to come and really enjoy something other than, you know, the Main Street Beatrice. So
sure, and this track has been around for a long time now. My wife is from Beatrice, so I hear all the Beatrice, you know, stories all the time. Now, that last year was your rookie year, so this is your second season in the Sport Compact.
It was my second season in a Sport Compact.
And we heard that you ran practice last night. Is that correct?
I mean, you could say I ran a couple laps at practice last night.
And what happened?
Well, I was running pretty hot, actually. The car was running better than it ran all last year. We finally had it dialed in and everything we were looking for. I think my first lap out, rusty for a couple months, I ran a 21.9, and my quickest lap was 21.3 last year. So the car was just bad out of hell. It was running strong. And about lap 3, out of nowhere, up in smoke, I got covered in hot water. Obviously, everybody knows the engines are running pretty hot out there, but it blew all the way through the cockpit and on me. I actually thought I was on fire.
Oh, geez, that's not ever good. So, are you have plans of fixing it? Or are you going to hold off?
You know, we're talking right now, and me and my fiance are really a team. Together, we make all the decisions. It's all about 1 and 2. So, for all you guys out there listening, listen to the wife. I'm telling you, as the cameraman shaking his head.
That would be Buddy Ray Jones.
Don't take advice from him, seriously. But we're a team. So everything we do, we're 100% together. And really, the goal is a hobby stock. We want to move up, and it's been in this division. We've had a lot of bad luck, and that's racing though. You know, you blow up, you fix it. You blow up, you fix it. Well, are we wanting to put the time away and start building a hobby stock now, and then maybe come back in a year or 2 years and really hit it hard with a competitive car, or do we want to rebuild? So right now we're kind of in that discussion process. You know, we went through 4 engines and 3 transmissions last year, and it's not that it gets old. It gets okay. Now what's the investment here? And as everybody knows out there in YouTube land, race cars aren't an investment.
No, they are not a tax deduction. They are nothing like that. Unless you're like Buddy Ray and win all the time and cash those big checks, you know, most of us are still, pooling our pennies to
everything you got,
what we can in the car.
So, you know, we're really talking about what do we want to do from here forward? What is Essenman Racing? What do we as a couple want to accomplish here? And really, the end game is hobby stock. You know, I've had a bunch of fun in the Sport Compact division, and it's an absolute blast. And I absolutely love everyone I've gotten to meet, and become really a part of this crazy family they call racing out of nowhere.
Family, that's for sure.
It really is. And no matter where I go, I'm back in racing. I'm coming back. This isn't the end for me.
That's good to hear.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see if I want to rebuild this car, or if we want to start on a hobby stock. So we're gonna really spend the next month and think about it.
Well, I'll give you a little advice. I raced Sport Compacts for 5 years. I know the trials and tribulations you've already been through. If I'm you, I'm saving my money and going right up to the next class. Don't cheat yourself, because you'll find out in the end you're going to get a better result by moving up than you are than just being. I mean, some people, that's what they like to run. That's the car they run. Now, me, I went all the way up to Sport Mod, so I skipped right over hobbies. But I would suggest taking your time, even if, like we did, we took a half a year off during the race season. We started the first week just like you did, crashed, totaled the car. Had some help into a wall, more or less. It's never the driver's fault.
Ever.
Nope. Somebody else's fault.
The crew chief.
And we just said screw it, and saved our money, went and looked for the right car, took our time, didn't rush into it, and that's the car we're racing to this day.
And that's the thing.
I would suggest, if you can, patch it back together and run if you can, if that's what you choose to do. But with a wedding and all that stuff, you may want to just kind of save your money and start looking for that hobby, because it should be exciting to see you up in the hobby station.
Well, absolutely. And I actually got a great friend of ours, the Sadoffs, Mark and Sue Ann Sadoff, let me hot lap their car last year. And I'll tell you what, there's nothing better than the feeling of going around a corner in a hobby stock.
It is a lot of fun.
Like I said, we've done this year, and I think we want to see what we can do as a couple. And my fiance is incredible. She's so talented. She sings, she works out. She's actually in the middle of doing a bodybuilding competition and training for that. So what I really think as a couple you need to do is see, where do you want to go together? And right now, I want to go down that road with her. I got my last year, and racing will be here forever. I'm not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
Racing will never die. But let's do something for her. Let's take it out, and let's see where she wants to go with it. Let's together as a team and as a family, that's what I'm worried about now. So.
All right, well, great. Well, you keep us posted at Slingin Dirt on, you know, if you move up, and let us know so we can kind of keep an eye on you. And congratulations on your upcoming wedding.
Well, absolutely. And of course, I got to get the shameless sponsor plugs in. Yep. I got a brand new sponsor this year, Nick Lowski of Lowski Irrigation. He was out here Thursday night and watched me blow up, and he had more stickers on the car than I think anybody. Of course, there's State Bank of Odell, who gave us our trailer and has helped us all the way through the season. Doc Auto Repair hooked us up, always helping us out with our engines and stuff. Esseman Brought Motorsports, we had a friend fly in from Texas just to weld our roll cage. So just a lot of really great sponsors that are helping us out. Oh, Classic Auto Sales, he's the one that got me the fire suit to keep me safe. So shameless sponsor plug, got to do it.
It's never shameless, you got to have sponsors. So
well, thank you very much, I appreciate it.
And we'll keep track of you.
I'm Dylan Moody, I'm 10 years old, I'm from Chelsea, Iowa. I'm learning from the great Jamie Songer.
So what do you hope to do in a couple of years?
Race a late model.
Really? You got anybody you aspire to be?
Todd Cooney.
What is it about Todd Cooney?
Trying to help a buddy out.
You're trying.
We'll make him my bitch.
Todd Cooney's gonna be your bitch, and you're 10 years old.
Betcha.
There you go. You heard it right here on Slingin Dirt. We're right back. I tell you what, if you didn't catch the break, and I said, well, you know, we'll be right back. Yeah, hooked on phonics. Still learning that one, so I haven't really quite taken to that like Todd Cooney at a donut buffet. So, but I tell you what, going into the fan of the week, we've got a pretty good one. I didn't see this one coming. David Safel out of Stewart, Iowa, emailed us. What is your opinion on bringing back the Hawkeye Challenge races? Now, for those of you that don't know what that is, that's one driver from each class on track at once, starting on different laps. I love that idea. It's so unique.
I've seen a lot of different things done a lot of different ways, but I don't think I've ever seen the Hawkeye Challenge where I've seen just two classes of cars, but not all the classes of cars at one track doing that on separate laps. That would be really, really interesting.
I've never seen this, but I would think if you got a late model in 3 and 4, hobby stock in 1 and 2, or vice versa, and you got a sport compact over here, and you got somebody in a sport mod over here, I think they're staggering the start times. And to me, that's really cool as a fan, because I'm like, well, ooh, hey, can that late model actually catch that hobby stock? Now, I know if you had Todd Cooney and Jamie Songer out there, that wouldn't happen.
No.
Songer would beat Cooney. In fact, I think it's already happened on YouTube.
Yeah. They're legends in their own right.
Oh, man. Yeah. That's a whole different show.
Yeah.
That's a Jerry Springer show right there. But I really, really like the fact that you could have a late model 2 laps down on a sport compact, and the sport compact and the late model right there at the start-finish line right at the end of the race. That's exciting.
Well, yeah, and you know, I never seen it with all the different classes, but I know like where I run at Eagle, if you look at the lap times of each class, they're basically a second different. You know, a hobby stock is a second faster than a lap than the compacts, and the B mods are second faster, A mods are second faster, and then the sprints are a second faster. So, you know, you're talking about 5 seconds in a 14, 15 second lap that changes hands, and depending on who's driving. And of course, you know, nobody takes the same lines in the sport compact as you do in all these other different.
No.
It would be really interesting to watch, but you'd have to be pretty darn careful with your driving.
Yeah, you would see different driving styles, you would see different driving lines. But even then, you're gonna see just who's really good out there. I've often said that just because you're in a late model or a sport mod, or let me take that back. Just because you're in a sport compact doesn't mean you're not as good as that late model driver.
Oh,
and
no.
you know, and vice versa. it just means your checkbook says, Jack, you can only run sport mod this year.
That's absolutely
now,
correct.
if you had the chance of running a super late model, would you run a super late model if your checkbook says had at it?
Absolutely.
I would.
So if you have one and you would like me to drive it, or, you know.
I'll drive it. He'll run dead last.
I don't think so.
Yeah. We've been down this road.
Yeah.
So anyways, you know, I really like the Hawkeye.
Yeah, I'd like to
challenge.
see it.
I'd love to see it. You know, anybody that has one of these style of races coming up, email me at buddyj@joeskarting.com. I would love to come out and see that. So
yeah, and fan of the week, you know, you'll be getting a T-shirt. I think we have some tickets now that we might be giving away. So
it's early in the morning, and I forgot the T-shirt in the truck. So David, you're gonna get what you get.
So great question, and we'll be right back. Would you like to see your ad right here on Slingin Dirt TV? You need money, we need money. So if you want to sponsor an ad on Slingin Dirt TV,
email me at buddyj@joeskarting.com. It's BUDDY, letter J at joeskarting.com, karting with a K. Gain some traction, become a winner by putting your sponsorship right here. Welcome back to Slingin Dirt.
and our one sponsor.
In our one, yeah.
And speaking of our one sponsor.
Speaking of our one sponsor, he needs no introduction. Here's Saunders Says.
Alright, so today's subject is going to be Flagmen. Yeah, Songer's going to talk about Flagmen. Now, I've been known to maybe give a slight gesture to a flagman, or threaten to climb up and throw him out if he didn't throw a black flag, or I have even climbed into the flag stand and showed him the black flag and how it could be waved for a very, very poor driver. But I also used to referee wrestling. For 19 years, I refereed wrestling in the state of Iowa. Some of the greatest matches and some of the shittiest matches. And I always told people, while some of the rules I do not agree with, I must enforce. It is my job to enforce them, not my job to make them. The same with the racetrack flag guys. Now, I do have some opposition to certain things. For one, and I'm probably going to get in trouble for this, I hate the idea that somebody in a freaking in a booth at Super Nationals makes most of the calls. You're paying a flag man to do a job. Let him do his job. Whether I like that flag guy or not, it doesn't matter. He's being paid to do a job. And on the record, I'm not a huge fan of the guy. But you know what? You're paying him to do a job, so let him do it. If the guy up in the cat's nest or the crow's nest wants to make the calls, put him in the flag stand. That's my opinion. Or you got a flag guy that's been told by his guy, don't black flag nobody, I can't afford to lose cars. I got news for you, dumbasses. You lose more cars by us getting run over weekly by some jackass who can't drive and shouldn't even be on the track, and maybe we could get rid of him and these little cronies that are constantly causing troubles if you black flagged him, and it'd be better for the sport, not worse. Shitty cars and shitty drivers drive away other race car drivers. Nobody wants to go to a track that's gonna trash them weekly. That black flag was invented to be used. And the dumbest flags I've ever seen in my life are Abilene, Texas. There is a certain guy in Nebraska who drives a sprint car now that knows how much I love the green-red in Abilene. My first race back after 21 years off, they threw a green flag and a red flag that is together. Well, evidently, everybody else seen the red going into one. I did not see that part of it, and put my front tire on his door pillar. I got to sign it. Who in the hell has a green-red flag? Except that track. I mean, or green-yellow. Proceed with caution, there could be problems ahead. What, who the hell invented that shit? If you're the only track that uses that flag, hello, don't use it. Nobody understands it. Nobody wants it. If it was a flag that everybody wanted, everybody'd use it. Second off, or third or whatever, I get so riled up I forget where I'm at. The flag guy has to be thick-skinned. When I refereed, I got my ass chewed a lot. And some of them were right and some of them were wrong. And I once made the mistake of telling a coach, now wait a minute, buddy. And his response to me was, look, we ain't ever been, ain't ever gonna be buddies. So there we go to the buddy system. If you got favorites, so be it. I'll tell you one thing, when I refereed, my friends, their kids, probably had it rougher than the others. Because I was nervous that somebody would think that I was calling in favor of them. And I'd rather have that. If it's my kid out there and you're my buddy, I'd rather have you call it tougher on him than better, because I don't need no favors and neither does he. Life's tough, we'll get through it, so's racing. But these guys who think they need preferential treatment or they give preferential treatment, you're a jackass. A full-blown panty-waist, ain't got a set of nuts jackass. And if you think you're not gonna get yelled at or cussed at, don't take the job. It's part of it. You're gonna get yelled at. People are gonna disagree with you. Grab your little set of cojones and either stand up or go be a freaking... go work in a concession stand, you sissy lala. I mean, come on. You're gonna get yelled at as a flag guy, as a corner guy, as a tech guy. It's gonna happen. Get your thick skin on. When I first started refereeing, if you disagreed with me, I was ready to argue at the drop of a hat. Well, guess what? Not many people wanted me back. When I learned how to have rational discussions, which doesn't happen a lot with race car drivers, but once there's a rational discussion, then that's the way it should be. I help promoters at several racetracks. And I'll tell you what, if they black flag me, they have a reason. Whether I agree with it, disagree with it, or whatever call they make, it doesn't matter that I sponsor that track. I will still be back. If you're my friend and you black flag me or make a call I don't agree with, we are still friends after we leave the racetrack. It has nothing to do with it. I might be mad at you for a week or so, but we're still friends. Don't make a call because you're afraid your friend might get mad. If that's the case, once again, go work in the panties department at a women's department store or the concession stand where you belong with your no cojones.
Jamie. Wow.
The always entertaining Songer says.
Can you imagine racing against that guy?
I'm just wondering what goes on in his head while he's racing. He's always doing these videos while he's driving, so what's he thinking about when he's racing?
I'm never going to wonder or ask what's going on inside that guy's head because we ain't got enough time in the world to contemplate that.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we want to wrap up the show here. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, just email me at buddyj@joeskarting.com. That's BUDDY, letter J, at joeskarting.com. Also, we've moved up in the world. We actually have a YouTube channel.
We do.
Go to Slingin Dirt TV.
And t-shirts.
And t-shirt, rocking the shirts. So, and we finally got a little bit of soda in our coffee mug. So we're moving up in the world a little bit.
Yep. So if they got questions, if you have questions you want, if you have feedback for us about segments,
we want to hear from you.
We want to hear from you.
This is your show.
Right. This is for you guys. We want to know what you think. But you know what? We're running out of time, so I think we probably ought to wrap it up. So until next week, strap in and keep slinging dirt.
Well, we'll slinging something.